Skinner and Demoulas in Richfield Springs and R.A. Dudrak, the Window King, present Mohawk Valley Living, exploring the arts, culture, and heritage of our region. A special good morning to Joy watching in Richfield Springs. It was a pleasure to meet you this week.
Good morning and welcome to Mohawk Valley Living. Today we are going to be buzzing all over the Mohawk Valley, including an apiary in Holland Patent, so stay tuned.
Let's not talk about it, just give me a kiss. Just give me a kiss. Give me a kiss. Hold me like this in the moment of bliss. Give me a kiss.
Say goodbye to summer tomorrow at 6 p.m. with a free guided walking tour of Roscoe Conkling Park's Switchbacks. The tour is followed by a free concert by the Rick Short Band. Meet at the Southwoods Pavilion off Valley View Road in Utica at 6 p.m. tomorrow. Special thanks to our presenting sponsor, R.A. Dudrak, for making the show possible. The meadows are filled with late August flowers, and the worker bees are busier than ever gathering the sweet nectar to bring back to the hive. In Holland Patent, many of the bees are heading to the hives at Pylman Apiaries, cared for by budding beekeeper Tim Pylman.
Well, it started right here close by hooking up with a commercial beekeeper, which is a good friend of mine now, and then taking the course at the Oneida County Co-op in the fall of the year or the winter of the year. That got me going. It's just part-time right now. I'm going to try to make a living out of it, or a retirement living out of it. I'm close to 100 boxes right now. I'm 80-some boxes, and it's just part-time. I'm not an experienced commercial beekeeper by any means, but I can't get enough of it. Once you know something, you ask more questions, and why this and why that, and why isn't this box producing like the box next to it? You know, they're all different. No two boxes are alike, and I want them all to be alike. I want them all producing honey. There's an active queen in that hive. That's the whole basis of the hive. She produces more and more workers. The hive continues to grow, and then the outcome is honey production. It takes, I believe, 156 bees to visit 1 million flowers to produce a pound of honey. And I bring the honey into my room. It has to be warm to extract it, 80, 90 degrees. Again, I take the frame. I have to uncap it to get the honey to come out.
That's and breaking the top.
Breaking the top with that little fork that I had. Do all that by hand now. And then put it into the spinner that spins centrifugally force, spins the honey out of the frame, and then goes into a tank and eventually ends up in a bottle.
You can find sweet Pylman Apiaries honey for sale at Cafe Caruso in Utica, where it is also used in their desserts. The Clinton Cider Mill and an Old Forge at Old Forge Hardware, Diorio Supermarket, Souvenir Village, and Nathan's Bakery.
When I look around, it lets me know I'm home. I'm making this.
Watch Mohawk Valley Living Sundays on Fox 33 and WUTR. And coming soon, a new magazine featuring show summaries, maps, guides, and more. Watch the show every Sunday and pick up the free Mohawk Valley Living magazine coming this fall.
I wanna live. Yes, I'm making this valley my home.
Here's what's hot on the lot at Skinner and Demoulas. Check out this 2013 Dodge Avenger, only 13,000 miles with a 7-year, 100,000-mile factory warranty. Was $17,995. Mohawk Valley Living fan price $16,995 at Skinner and Demoulas in Richfield Springs.
Everyone knows the Window King for windows because he's been selling good windows cheap for years. But R.A. Dudrak is much more than windows. He's windows and doors, kitchens and floors. So, whether you're looking for energy-efficient windows to save money this winter, or a new kitchen to brighten up those long winter months, the Window King has it all. Visit their showroom in beautiful Holland Patent and see for yourself why R.A. Dudrak is the Window King.
It's time to bid on your favorite one-of-a-kind rocker. 34 handcrafted rockers featuring original artwork by local artists are on the auction block. The live auction is this Tuesday at 6 p.m. on the Clinton Village Green. Art rocks in Clinton. Melrose Supermarket is your family hometown market, known for their choice hand-cut meats, homemade breads, and fresh pastas and salads. Check out the weekly specials at Melrose Supermarket, East Main Street in Frankfort. Summer fashion at a fraction during the summer clearance. Save up to 40% on colorful, fun-to-wear summer clothing. On sale now at the Village Crossing in Clinton. Mark your calendars for the ultimate celebration of autumn, the 35th Annual Harvest Festival, September 14th and 15th at the Farmers Museum. This regional favorite brings together a wide range of performers, artisans, great food, music, animals, and family activities. Enjoy traditional 19th century music, horse-drawn wagon rides, apple cider pressing, and free rides on the Empire State Carousel. It's the 35th Annual Harvest Festival, September 14th and 15th at the Farmers Museum in Cooperstown. Buy the bushel and save at North Star Orchards. Take advantage of summer's bounty and stock up now for freezing and canning. Pick a peck of peppers. Choose from 8 varieties. Enjoy sweet nectarines and peaches from New York and Pennsylvania. Buy the bushel and save at North Star Orchards in Westmoreland.
Couldn't win, the man's just not so. Said son, look at me, I was once young and free, but my troubles got me to this mess. So now I'm evil, you, so they say.
Enjoy clams and jams this Tuesday night with the music of Joe Sweet from 6 to 9 p.m. at 69 Steakhouse on Oriskany Boulevard in Whitesboro. And mark your calendars for the event Joe started 6 years ago, the Utica Music and Art Fest, September 13th and 14th in Utica. Special thanks to Skinner and Demoulas for keeping Mohawk Valley living on the road. Stop in and say hi to the guys at Skinner and Demoulas in Richfield Springs. You don't have to be from Latin America to enjoy the vibrant spirit of the 8th Annual Latino American Festival today in Utica. The event raises awareness of the Latino population in the area. Ritmo Caribeño is a children's cultural dance group. We caught up with them during one of their rehearsals before today's event.
There are 21 Latino countries, so we're trying to represent all of them. And we pick out at certain times throughout the year, we pick out a different country to do a dance. And we teach the kids what the dance is about, the history behind it, the history of the country, where the country is, that kind of thing. So it's also an educational piece for them.
Come cheer on Ritmo Caribeño at the 8th Annual Latino American Festival today. Enjoy music, food, dancing, and vendors from noon to 6 p.m. at Hanna Park in Utica. Looking for a way to get through a stressful work week? Try some hump day doodling at Signature 81. Every Wednesday night at 7 p.m., you can unwind with a meditative and rejuvenating hour of Zen Doodling. Just one of the many workshops at Signature 81.
Humanity has always needed to leave a mark. We've got cave paintings from eons ago that are still around. So we create marks wherever we go. We've all doodled, whether we're on the phone chatting with someone, sitting in a classroom at a boring meeting, edges of our paper get filled in with space with marks. Intentional doodling as a relaxation method is concentrating on patterns, concentrating on what we're doing, not just keeping our hands busy, but actually what is it that our hands are doing. So it's a combination of seeing what it is that we're doing and repeatedly looking for patterns and reproducing patterns. And because it's working with patterns, it's got a calming essence to it. My usual number one thing is, and it's like pretty much my only rule, is no erasing. And simply because as a meditative method, you can't relax while you're judging, especially if you're judging something you created yourself. And so for Zen doodling as a meditative process, no erasing. If a mark comes along that you didn't intend because your cat hit your hand, then incorporate that into a different shape that you didn't plan on making, but now you have to incorporate it. And that's where it's very much a metaphor of life also. You just kind of need to learn how to go with the flow and add it in and keep it going.
Unwind and replenish with Zen Doodling. This free workshop is held Wednesday evenings from 7 to 8 p.m. at Signature 81, located at Kellogg Commons, 9273 Kellogg Road, near Piggy Pat's, or visit signature81.com. If you follow the local music scene, you're sure to know of the Rusty Doves. This local duo is made up of Alyssa Stock on the mandolin and Jerry D on the upright bass. They blend old and new music from every decade of the 20th century, creating their own unique sound.
I had a background in bluegrass through high school. My French teacher, Sue Bladdock, would take me to bluegrass festivals growing up, and so I have a lot of love for that musical genre. And when I came back, Jerry had just stumbled into an upright bass, and so which he hadn't played since he was in high school. But between those two acoustic instruments, the bass and the mandolin, we just play old-timey kind of stuff. We call it progressive Americana because it's everything from like 1920s jazz to like bluegrass music, older folk and that. And yeah, just trying to make the old music new again.
Catch the Rusty Doves before they head out on their October tour at the Dev this Friday night at 9 p.m. at 41 Devereaux Street in Utica. You can also follow them on Facebook.
Protect their advantageous work. Some would set the world to burn. Guard your own. Their face lies in hands drawn tight. They won't let you sleep tonight. Make them run. So you move the hands and take their life. Loving ones they hold their own. I could say.
Here's what's hot on the lot at Skinner and Demoulas. Check out this 2013 Dodge Avenger, only 13,000 miles with a 7-year, 100,000-mile factory warranty. Was $17,995. Mohawk Valley Living fan price $16,995 at Skinner and Demoulas in Richfield Springs. Watch regional artists capture the beauty of Old Forge Labor Day weekend during the Plein Air Paint Out presented by View. Attend the Preview Cocktail Party Saturday night and the Art Auction Sunday, September 1st at 4. The Old Forge Plein Air Paint Out Labor Day weekend. For the most unique shopping experience, visit the Little Falls Antique Center and the shops at 25 West. Over 40 local vendors all under one roof. Shop local at the Little Falls Antique Center and the shops at 25 West. Always worth the drive at Canal Place in Little Falls. Brenda's Natural Foods is the natural choice for healthy local products, gluten-free and gourmet foods, personal care and natural cleaning products. Brenda's Natural Foods, West Dominic Street in Rome. Shop Shelter for handmade Adirondack furniture designed by craftsman Jim Kiefer. He works with you to create custom pieces to your specifications, from dining room and coffee tables to bookcases, beds, and bunks. Call or visit Shelter on Main Street in Old Forge. Why do contractors and do-it-yourselfers shop Lincoln Davies? It's the superior grade lumber, the value for the money, the 140 years and 6 generations of customer service. Since 1872, Lincoln Davies has delivered superior lumber, value, and service, and they're not about to change things now. Celebrating 140 years at the same location, just 10 minutes south of New Hartford on Summit Road between routes 12 and 8. Lincoln Davies, building them like they used to. Call Yannick Excavating for all your residential and commercial projects, from new construction and land clearing to septic systems, driveways, basements, ponds, and topsoil. Visit yannickexcavating.com. Expecting company? Just call Deansboro Superette. They prepare delicious Middle Eastern platters for any number of guests. Call 841-4377. Experience old-fashioned home cooking at the Cayuta Drive-In. Enjoy fish fries, homemade soups and salads, and prime rib dinners every Saturday night. Open daily for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and ice cream. The Cayuta Drive-In in Remsen, an Adirondack tradition since 1963. Last week, we followed the Canajoharie Creek to Canajoharie. This week, we thought we'd learn more about the area's history. Canajoharie is located near the former site of Canajoharie, a village of the Mohawk Nation. Europeans settled in the area around 1730. Some of the historic buildings still stand. The Van Alstyne homestead on Moyer Street is one of the first built in the area. During the American Revolution, it functioned as a tavern and meeting place. Today it is a historic site and museum.
The house was built in circa 1749 by Martin Van Alstyne, who moved here from Kinderhook. He was a miller, and he and his wife and their 11 children resided here. And he had, lots of people coming here to have their grain milled and that type of thing. And later on, his son, Martin Jr., added on to the house, and it became what you see today. And there were many important historic events that happened here. The Committee of Safety met here. Also a refuge for people during, there was a huge raid in the Mohawk Valley and the Schoharie Valley during the Revolutionary War, called the Burning of the Valleys. And people came here because this was a fortified homestead. There were several in the area, and this was one of the ones that survived and where people came for refuge. The mid-1800s, mid to late 1800s, Rufus Grider bought this building. It was in very poor condition at the time, and he had moved here from Pennsylvania. He was an art teacher, actually, in Canajoharie, and he turned it into one of the first public history museums in New York State. And he spent his time creating a record of historic sites in the Mohawk Valley and collecting artifacts, which we have in our museum upstairs.
Talk about history. This building behind me was the place where George Washington commissioned General Herkimer back in 1775. That was before we were even a country.
Just a few steps from the Van Alstyne homestead is another pair of historic buildings, the Episcopal Church and a historic home known as the White House.
Here on Moyer Street there are two limestone buildings. One behind me is a home, and then there's the church. They were built by Dr. White, and local legend has it that he built the church so that his daughter would have an Episcopalian church in which to be married. Now talk about dedication. That's it. Build a church for your daughter.
The church was actually built prior to the home. The church was, according to our records, built in 1879, consecrated in 1883. The house was built in 1879 for Dr. J. White. He was an immigrant from England, a doctor who made his money selling medical trusses. As I said, built in 1879. It was a private residence until the 20s, when it became the village municipal building and county health offices. And after that, the house was converted into apartments.
There's something in you, just can't explain. Bring the sun that shines down. Bright colors, you stay the same. All the stones we carry, they remain.
A new historical marker and continued research are helping bring to light the histories of African American families in the Mohawk Valley. Montgomery County historian Kelly Farquhar has assembled a team to gather historical information about local families.
In 1855, there was a census that was done for New York State, and there were 118 African Americans that were counted for living in the village of Canajoharie. And some of them had been as slaves at one point before New York State abolished slavery. Some could have been freedom seekers coming up from the South. We're not really sure until we start studying and looking at where they were from and different records that are available, but there's not a lot of records that are available. Chester Bromley Hoke was a native of Canajoharie. His grandparents on his mother's side had been slaves. He was born around 1847, and he was raised by his grandparents because his mother died when he was about 3 years old. And he went on as a young man to enlist in the 54th Massachusetts Regiment, the regiment that the movie Glory was based upon. And when he got out of the service, he came back to Canajoharie. He lived his life. He was a porter for the Mohawk Hotel, and he married a woman who had been a servant for the Arkell family. And they lived in this house, and they raised 4 children.
For more information or to contribute local stories, artifacts, and pictures relating to Montgomery County's African American history, contact County Historian Kelly Farquhar at 518-853-8186.
I know life is never easy, I've always had it rough. Good things come those who wait, but it's never been good enough. Since you came into my life, you fill my heart with love.
For traditional Italian cooking in Canajoharie, we were recommended Mercato's restaurant on West Main Street. Sasha Prifty and her daughter are Albanian, but the food is unmistakably homemade Italian.
Our restaurant has been on this site for 80 years. It is now owned and operated by the Prifty family. I'll tell you one thing, when you come here, be sure to have the pasta fazool. It is absolutely to die for, and have anything with mushrooms in it, because the mushrooms are not canned or frozen, they're fresh. And be sure to have the stuffed peppers, because that took me back to Cornhill, and the stuffed peppers my mother used to make for me, and she would cook them in the furnace downstairs. I remember that vividly. In the wintertime, of course.
The food, it's Italian, but as my mom always says, Albania and Italy are neighbors, so they share a lot of common foods. A lot of the foods we eat here and she makes here, they also make in Albania, and they serve in Albania. So most known for, I would say, is chicken piccata. It's probably the most famous dish here, and she has amazing stuffed peppers, which is not so Italian, but she's made that from her heart. And yeah.
But I'll do anything for you. Yes, I do anything for you.
It was hard to save room for dessert, but we wanted to stop in and see the Gales around the corner at the Village Restaurant. Not much has changed since we met them on our first visit to Canajoharie back in 2006.
We were here at the Village Restaurant 6 years ago, and the stools are still as low, and the waitress is still as sweet. I'll tell you, if you come here, be sure now to get the strawberry shortcake, because the biscuits are homemade.
See what we can see, traveling round the Mohawk.
Just down the block on Church Street is Peruzzi's Meat Market. Everyone in town knows John Peruzzi. He was the butcher at the Great American here for almost 30 years. When it closed, he decided to open his own place in 1998.
Well, we produce a lot of store-made things that a lot of places don't do. I do like shaved steaks. I do really thin, skinny steaks on the slicer, and we make our own meatballs. I make my own sausage. I have like 10 different kinds of sausages. We make a turkey sausage, a chicken sausage. I have one. Our favorite chicken sausage is a fresh spinach and ricotta cheese chicken sausage that goes over very well. And we do a lot of different things. Mexican hots we make, and everything that is produced here is produced on premises, and I've developed a lot of different recipes that I think a lot of people like, so we have a lot of customers that look for that stuff.
John Peruzzi told me that there is one item that is very difficult to find here in the Mohawk Valley. As a matter of fact, you may not be able to find it, but if you come here, you can, and here it is, pig's feet. So if you're a lover of pig's feet, take a drive to Canajoharie and to Peruzzi.
There was music in the valley. There was music in the air. There was music all around me. There was music everywhere.
In 1866, James B. Turnbull walked to farms and villages to visit his customers, earning their trust. Today, the fourth generation of Turnbulls continue that dedication, tailoring a life insurance plan to suit your unique needs and priorities. Turn to the company that is out there to earn your trust. Turn to Turnbull. Do something about your chronic pain. InterX Therapy can be the answer to your post-surgical or sports injury rehabilitation or chronic neuropathic pain. Call Dr. Michael Tucherone at 853-6225 for non-invasive InterX Therapy.
Hi, Dr. Tom. Bringing your cat to the Paris Hill Cat Hospital on Sundays is a part of Mohawk Valley living. Come inside and see why.
Paris Hill Cat Hospital, this is Lindsay. How can I help you? Hello, Mrs. Cole. Your cat is losing weight and you need an appointment? And you're only available on weekends. Sure, I have an available appointment with Dr. Karen Sunday at 2 p.m. Does that fit into your schedule? Okay.
We're open 7 days a week because we know that your cat can become ill anytime. The Paris Hill Cat Hospital, quality care for your cats and kittens.
That special art, photograph, or memorabilia deserves a special frame. Oscars creates one-of-a-kind gold and silver leaf mirrors and frames. Oscars Picture Framing, 12 Kellogg Road, New Hartford. Have a tropical adventure and walk among hundreds of free-flying butterflies, tropical birds, plants, lizards, and frogs at the Pop Butterfly Conservatory. It's an unforgettable experience for all ages. Open 7 days a week on Route 7 in Oneonta. When you shop Meelan's Market, you'll be the grill master. That's because every hot dog, beef patty, and sausage is made by Bob Meelan himself. Find everything for your next cookout, from store-made meats to fresh salads and tabbouleh, at Meelan's Market at the Four Corners in Clark Mills. Experience the Fenimore Art Museum, overlooking beautiful Otsego Lake. Spend the day exploring the permanent collection of American Indian art and one of the nation's largest collections of American folk art. Current exhibitions this summer include The Wyeths, A Family Legacy, including works by N.C. Wyeth and Andrew Wyeth, and Nature and the American Vision exhibition, highlighting 19th century Hudson River School artists, on display at the Fenimore Art Museum in Cooperstown. Tom's Natural Foods is your connection to local farms for natural and organic fruits and vegetables, meats, eggs, cheeses, and other milk products at Tom's Natural Foods in Clinton, naturally.
Baby, can't you see no matter where you go, you never find another friend like me. Anytime you are alone and blue, please hurry home, won't you? I'll be waiting for you.
If you really want the mum to come back year after year as a perennial, you have to plant it early. You can't just leave it on the porch and then try planting it after Halloween like most of us do. You want to get it in early. So you still can enjoy it, it's in the yard, but plant it early. The modern mum is a Belgian mum, which means that it's more prolific in its blooms, it's tighter, it's compact. It doesn't get real leggy and tall like so many used to that would blow over and maybe the snow would bother. These mums are easy to care for. You can just put them in a well-drained area. You don't want to overwater, but they do need some water. Typically they're fed in the greenhouses where they're started, so you probably don't have to fertilize them. And don't worry, if you get a little frost on them, they're hardy, they'll take it.
We hope that you enjoyed today's show. Tune in next week for our 8th annual Labor Day show. Between now and then, enjoy Mohawk Valley living.